Welcome back to Jedi Enclave. I am Daniel.
And I'm unnerved by that thumbnail image.
Why?
The
ad block. The real
teeth.
creepy face. Yeah. There's a reason we're talking about that, by the way. Thanks for derailing our opening. By the way,
I have to do that sometimes.
I'm Daniel.
On your toes. I'm Chris.
This is Chris. This is the Jedi Enclave presents.
Come on, they know who I am by this point.
Our tens of adoring fans probably do know. This is the Jedi Enclave presents this is Podcasting Podcast, our weekly podcast about Star Wars, fantasy, nerdom, other things that we enjoy.
And you might be thinking, they haven't talked about Star Wars very much.
Well, we got some Star Wars
recently.
this week.
We have a fuck ton of Star Wars coming up.
Actually, yeah, like we're talking about, so we had Star Wars like news today. There were like a few Star Wars things. Next, so
Andor's in 10 days.
It is, and we're doing a weird thing with our schedule now, because so next week, so we're gonna do the show today, and then in a few days on Wednesday we're gonna have another show, and then all of our shows will be on Wednesday after that. And I think on Wednesday we'll be talking about The Last of Us, because that'll be out by then.
Okay.
And
The Last of Us comes out Sundays, right? Is that how HBO does it?
Probably. It's probably why we're on Wednesdays. Yeah.
Okay.
And directly after that, we'll be doing a buzzed recap for Andor season 1, which then will be the next week, I believe. And then we'll be doing Andor after shows after they happen, like on the day they release.
After 2 goddamn hours of Andor.
Yes. Closer to 3. It's going to be 3 episodes, each of them, or I think we saw
like 40 and 50 minutes. Yeah.
Right. So it'll be pushing close to 3 hours. Yeah. Or at least 2.5. That'll be a thing. While you're here, if you could join us on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch, and Discord, all the links are there in the description. We're also on Blue Sky. It's like a more peaceful Twitter.
It's Twitter without the Nazis.
Yeah, fewer Nazis. Which, I mean, to be fair, what a utopia.
Yeah.
No Nazis.
Unfortunately.
Just fewer Nazis than we have now. It's the best we can hope for. So I want to get right into this because there's kind of a lot tonight, and there was a fucking banger episode of Daredevil this week. You watched that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I saw your head move, and I was like, oh God, oh no. Oh no. One of these Star Wars news things, by the way, I'm putting in so I can talk about something else.
Okay.
That I'm really excited about that I don't think you've seen, and we're gonna I want some time, so we're gonna get into this. I think probably the first big thing, since Andor is coming up, Tony Gilroy has been doing some press.
Yeah, they had a red carpet event in London.
Yeah.
And of course there were reporters there.
Yeah.
And one of them asked him, hey, what other Star Wars projects do you want to do? And he, was goofing around saying, how about a 3-camera sitcom or a horror project?
Yeah.
And this reporter asked, well, what kind of horror project would you make? And Tony Gilroy was like, actually, now that I think about it, Disney's actually doing something about that.
Yeah, which everyone was like, excuse me?
What?
Yeah. And Kathleen Kennedy is watching this like, that motherfucker.
I'm supposed to do that.
Yeah.
What the hell? That's my thing.
Yeah, I'm supposed to announce things and then cancel them, not Tony fucking Gilroy.
Also, Disney's legal ninjas immediately sprang into action.
Did they? Did they kill his family?
I assume they had to.
Yeah. I know he mentioned that he Andor season 2 is the last Star Wars thing he plans on doing.
It leads directly into Rogue One, and then Cassian Andor dies.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Which is too bad because I think he's been kind of the best creator for Star Wars, I think, since Rian Johnson. And you know what? Come at me. I don't give a fuck. I don't think, as far as things I've enjoyed, all the things he's done, I've enjoyed. So in the pretty top shelf quality as well. So I'm a little disappointed he doesn't plan on doing any more.
Honestly, I am thankful that Disney is accepting that he had a vision for 2 seasons of a show. It's going to tie up the loose ends. Yeah. And they're not pushing him to stretch it, into 3 or 4 seasons just so they can get more subscribers. They're saying, okay, this is your vision. Yeah. This is your show. We're going to be happy with that. And maybe down the line sometime, if you have another idea, call us and we'll set something up.
Yeah, well, and you know what? Maybe we'll start giving other creators as much freedom as we gave you to fully realize their vision.
Because turns out you get really good results when when you give creative people a big check and say, do what you gotta do, you get good shit.
Yeah. let's move on to the next. By the way, if you're watching, if you're noticing, I went to Target today, and
as a reward for his good behavior,
my partner bought me a new Black Series. This is a Jedi Master Kalnaka the Wookiee, who I got to choose. It was Farm Boy Luke, which I'm not, out of all the Luke things, Farm Boy Luke is like my least favorite.
Yeah.
The little tracker guy from Acolyte.
Okay.
The little, like, he looks like a chinchilla.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
There was Manda with a Darksaber. And
Nome Jacinto?
No, I don't think he exists in Black Series, because that would have been my first choice.
Yeah.
And Vernestra Rowe from Acolyte as well. So
I assume she has a bitchin' light whip.
It's just a lightsaber. And yeah, I know. I would assume it's kind of hard to put that in toy form.
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, I was like, I damn near bought all of them, because if John hadn't been there with me in Target, I would have been like, we're buying all these. Yeah. He was like, you can have one. You can have one toy. I was like, okay.
Thank goodness somebody in your household is good with budgeting.
Yeah, that's true. If I was in charge of our money, we'd have a lot of really cool shit, but we would not.
And you would not have a house.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a house. So next on our docket here. So Jesse Plemons. So this is according to I guess Industry Insider.
So rumor alert. This is not
Kritzman.
confirmed.
Yeah.
No one at Disney has said anything. However, a reasonably reliable source has said.
So Shawn Levy has an upcoming Star Wars film. Apparently, Jesse Plemons of Breaking Bad fame will be in it as a character, as specifically the main villain.
He has been offered a role.
Yeah, which I assume he'll take it. I mean, like, that would be a pretty big deal. Make a lot of fucking money on that. So there's I did not put this in here. This is an interesting rumor.
Yes.
It is not much more than that.
It's there because you want to talk about Breaking Bad, isn't it?
No. Something... I love Breaking Bad. Don't get me the fuck wrong. So, also, real quick, people might remember that before we knew much about Force Awakens, there were casting rumors that he was going to be in Force Awakens, which he was just coming off of that Breaking Bad, because he was only in a few episodes of Breaking Bad, but is a very memorable character.
Yeah.
And he, like, younger Jesse Plemons had sandy blonde hair and looked a little bit like Mark Hamill. And so the rumor was that he was playing Mark Hamill's son, or Luke Skywalker's son.
Interesting.
Yeah. Ended up not happening, and I'm not sure if he was attached to it and then later on wasn't, like, dropped out or backed away from it. What I want to tell you about, have you heard of a Netflix series called Black Mirror?
Yes, I have heard.
Okay. And I believe I've probably showed you at least a couple of episodes from this. Okay.
It's Twilight Zone, but the internet and robots.
And technology and like a kind of futuristic. Yeah. There's an episode in I think the 4th season of Black Mirror called USS Callister, which is this amazing. So basically what it is that, like, in the near future, in like 10 or 15 years from now, there is a game development company that has a game called Infinity. And basically what you do is you take this little nubbin and you put it on your temple and you tap it and you say start game, and you're like, huh! And you just, like, your eyes glaze over, and then you're in this world, right? And it's like a spaceship fucking GTA, right?
Yeah.
And the one of the CTO of the company, played by Jesse Plemons, is this in real life is this really timid, tread upon, nerdy boy who gets taken advantage of by the CEO and everything. And as a way to channel his frustrations, steals DNA samples from people at work who he sees as mistreating him.
Okay.
Makes a digital clone of them and puts them in his own special development build of this game that is reskinned to look like his favorite TV show, Space Fleet, which is a very obvious Star Trek, the original series thing, down to the costumes and the bridge and these people, they go to bed, they go to work, they come home, they go to bed, they wake up on the spaceship. Because once they're cloned, there are two different people now.
Yeah. And
he is their god. And they're all forced to play along with him there while he goes out and does heroic things. And at the end of the episode, everyone sings for "He is a jolly good fellow," and he kisses all the girls and everything. And the star of this episode, who is played by the Penguins' Gigante, remember her?
Yes.
Is the girl that he should not have brought into the game because he brings her in.
I mean, anyone who's watched The Penguin could tell you that.
Right. And she's like, as soon as he leaves to like go to work or whatever, she's like, oh no, we're taking this bastard out. Right. And there's a whole adventure, and they end up winning against him at the end of the episode. The reason I'm bringing this up now is because just 2 days ago, Black Mirror premiered its 7th season. Mm-hmm. And for the first time in 7 seasons in one film, by the way, one pick your own adventure film. I'm not shitting you, that exists.
Okay, cool.
They did a sequel to one of their previous episodes, which was the USS Callister.
Yes.
And the whole thing is, so at the end of the first, like the original episode, they get out of his development build and into the main game, and they're just digital beings in this main game. Mm-hmm. And they have the whole universe to explore.
Yeah.
And so the new episode that John and I watched just a couple days ago when it premiered is like a continuation of that, and a look of like some other issues that would crop up from that, and this whole thing. And it is insanely interesting and well acted, and feels at times like Star Trek, and lots of JJ lens flares, and like the whole thing is really cool.
So what you're saying is they're living inside Elite Dangerous now.
Yes. Yeah, more or less. If you could play Elite Dangerous and then when you're plugged in, not be able to discern it from reality, mm-hmm. and all of the basically
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you've Jesse Plemons would be great in Star Wars. What I'm saying though is that Black Mirror, specifically the USS Callister episodes, are fucking bangers, and they're so good.
It's funny because like I've overheard and read some people talking about this most recent season of Black Mirror, and they seem to think it's not so great.
I've only seen the USS Callister episode, and then episode 1 of the season so far. There was a huge downer and made me really depressed.
Oh, okay.
But it was really good, and it was an indictment on the kind of the capitalist fucking hellscape that we're in. You know, Michael Mick says, "Do you think that if Luke have used Obi-Wan's double-ended lightsaber in one of the last fights on the moon?"
What?
Sir, step away from the bong.
Lay down the crack pipe.
Put the crack pipe down. Take a step back.
Mm-hmm. Sleep it off. Get back to us tomorrow.
Yeah. Christopher says, "May the force be with you, Daniel and Chris. I hope you are both having a good night." It is a pretty good night, I think.
It's all right.
So, speaking of video games.
Yes.
Star Wars Outlaws, thank fucking God, because they announced when this game came out, they're like, oh no, there will be other DLC packs. Mm-hmm. And there was one, which was a Sabacc tournament thing that you do with Lando. By the way,
I mean, Sabacc was apparently the best part of that game. So
it is really fun. Yeah. And the Sabacc DLC, there wasn't a lot of Sabacc in it, which kind of sucks. But you might remember that there were some closures at Ubisoft. They were shutting some different parts of the company down, and we weren't sure if that was going to affect Star Wars Outlaws, but it turns out they are putting out their next DLC. It's going to be announced and previewed, I think, at Star Wars Celebration that starts here in about a week or so.
In Japan.
Yeah, called A Pirate's Fortune, and they're aiming for a spring 2025 release, which means that they will wait until the very last day of spring to put it out. That's generally what happens. Yeah. And the players will join Kay Vess and Hondo Anaka.
Yep.
and it's going to be a whole adventure, which is going to be great because Hondo is a fan favorite character from Clone Wars, and he's also in Galaxy's Edge as one of their like crazy lifelike animatronics and everything. And he's a really fun character. So he's also in Rebels too, a little bit. So we can look for that spring 2025. Also,
it's also another way of saying that there's a Star Wars celebration going on next week. So there's probably gonna be a whole lot of crazy shit happening.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about a bunch of shit, I bet. And we'll be posting about it throughout the week. Also, ahead of Star Wars Celebration, the Lucasfilm publishing panel is kind of pre-announcing some new projects. Yeah. One of them that caught my eye was Star Wars Master of Evil, which I don't know. Did you see the cover for this?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's kind of creepy and kind of strange. And as being written by Adam Christopher. Going to be exploring Vader's quest for power to conquer death between Episode 3 and A New Hope, and so that'd be pretty cool. Also, we're getting a Doug Chiang 800-page deluxe
art book.
Yeah, but specifically the concept art for like Episode 1. And Doug Chiang is amazing, by the way. If you've not seen his work, it's awe-inspiring. It's so fucking
probably
good.
Second only to Ralph McQuarrie in terms
I would agree with that.
Inspiring the visual aesthetic that we recognize as Star Wars.
Absolutely,
nowadays.
Yes. And then
I find your lack of candy disturbing.
A Halloween-themed book featuring exclusive artwork by Jeffrey Brown, which I don't think we are the demographic for that book.
No.
I think they're also doing aren't they also doing like a Star Wars The Acolyte visual dictionary?
An art book and then a visual guide to The Acolyte. Blueprints of ships, weapons, and technology. That one and the visual guide to Acolyte, both written by Pablo Hidalgo.
Oh yeah, he's part of the Lucas story group too.
And then
maybe he's not doing that anymore.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Seems like a dream job. I don't know why you believe it.
Well, Star Wars fans is why.
This is true.
And I think that if he left, I think that might have been why.
And then finally, Star Wars Women of the Galaxy, celebrating the women of Star Wars.
Oh boy.
Yep.
I wonder who's going to have a problem with that.
The worst people in the world.
It says Pablo Hidalgo is an author at Lucasfilm who's been identified as senior creative executive franchise story figure. Wow, what a title. And a member of the Lucasfilm story group. Mm-hmm. So I guess he's
probably still there.
Still there, yeah. Which is cool. Like that job, I would kill my own mother for that. I would kill a lot of people's mothers for that job.
You don't like your mother, so,
I know.
So that's not a very.
I would kill someone else's mother for it, though. I can tell you that right now. Like if Kathleen Kennedy, because we do talk every week, because we had to like make sure that the messaging, is set up and we're shilling the most efficient way possible. If she showed up to my house like she does every weekend and says, Daniel...
with her partner, Brie Larson.
Right. They're like, if you kill Chris's mother, we'll let you be on the story group. And it'd be like, oh, Chris, where does your mom live?
Don't think I'll be telling you that.
Yeah, if I ever randomly ask, yeah.
I don't have any blood sacrifices on my conscience.
Yeah. So, yeah, that concludes our Star Wars news.
Let's talk about Daredevil.
Okay, so there was episode 8. What was it called again? I can't remember what it was called.
Don't remember off the top of my head.
I'm gonna look it up because this one of those things I usually.
This was one of those quickly spiraling towards the climax episodes,
and
like things were coming to a head. And
Isle of Joy.
Yeah,
is what it's called. And it's one of those cool episodes where like they ratchet up tension and like the end, that end sequence is like lots of stuff happening. And I like how from the outside in, depending on who you are to Matt Murdock, it looks like he might be spiraling. But like we know what he knows. Mm-hmm. So like we know that there's kind of a reason for it.
But to everyone else in his life, he looks like he's
a crazy blind man, right? Yeah. Oh man. So this thing like opens up on a close up of a blue rose because there's this thing with Bullseye. Ben, what's his name?
he has a really goofy name.
Yeah, it's French or something. Some weird shit. But anyway,
whatever. He's Bullseye.
Yeah. There's this blue thing that happens where like they color grade everything blue, like when he, I guess, goes into like Bullseye mode or something. I don't even know, but he is like staring at that. It's a blue rose in the apparently the prison garden, because they have a real nice garden with these like really rare roses. But he is looking like pensively out that window. And you can tell he's one of those guys that, by the way, spoilers for Daredevil episode 8. He's one of those guys that probably has practiced looking out the window just in case anyone is watching him. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to look motherfucking epic sitting here looking out this window. So a guard arrives and he's like, hey, surprise. So first of all, he's like, well, what am I being? He's like, you're being transferred. And then he's like, well, what am I being transferred for? Like, I don't even have court for like, however long. It's like, well, actually, another surprise, Governor Fisk.
Mayor.
Oh, right, Mayor. Wow. Yeah, I put him in here as governor. In the very next line, I put him in as mayor, yeah. So Mayor Fisk has ordered your transfer to Gen Pop. So have fun.
Have fun with that.
With all the people that want to kill you now.
Yep.
Because he used to be an FBI agent.
Also, he's still like handcuffed, like with his arms attached to his torso.
Yeah, they're like, have fun defending yourself.
Yeah.
So Mayor Fisk and his wife Vanessa visit Red Hook, which is where he's trying to build this
revitalized port facility or whatever.
And it turns out, wouldn't you know, that Fisk has secured the funding from all the rich people.
Good for him.
And because you might remember a couple of episodes ago, he was having some trouble with this, where he shows up to the rich people meeting and they're like, oh, please, get the fuck out of here.
And he was talking with Jack
Duquesne, right? Yeah. Lalo from fucking Better Call Saul. And some shit has been happening in between episodes, and now all of a sudden he's got the funding and the things are a little like, that's a little weird. So anyway, so we skip to Heather and Matt, who are hanging out in Matt's apartment, and they're arguing about vigilantes.
Well, Heather is still really shaken up because she just killed a man.
Yeah, she had a near brush with, because Muse was going to...
Matt is shaken up because he just watched his girlfriend almost die, but can't tell her that he watched her almost die because that was Daredevil and not Matt Murdock.
Right, and she's like, they're all crazy little boys with masks, and Matt's like, hey girl, Daredevil saved your life, or at least is what I heard. And
if you believe the rumors.
Right, yeah, and it's like... how does she not? First of all, how does she not know that it's like that?
This is such a trope with these secret identity superheroes, where like whenever someone talks about them in slightly disparaging ways, or is like, "Well, are you sure about?" Like from my point of view, it seems like he's just trying to do the right thing. And it's like, dude, you could not be more obvious if you tried.
Right.
Like you might as well just hold up a sign saying, "I'm Daredevil."
I'm Daredevil. Yeah. They do subvert this trope a little bit in Batman: Dark Knight. When they're having dinner and they're like, oh, what do you think of Batman? Bruce Wayne's like, he's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I happen to know.
I know better than anyone else. He's fucking nuts.
So Buck shows up, who is like Fisk's...
Fisk's British guy.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
The one who just capped
Oh my God. Do all Americans have a British guy?
I guess.
Because I have a British guy.
Yeah, you have a British guy.
Yeah. I'll lend him to you. You can have a British guy too.
Oh, great.
He made me an honorary British citizen last night, by the way. So, not to brag, but when you are talking to me online now, you must refer to me as Daniel Sutherland, honorary British citizen. And the test, by the way, was... because I asked him, I was like, hey, because I figured it was like being a Westerosi knight where like only a knight can make you a knight.
Yeah.
And so I asked him if I could be honorary British citizen. And he said, okay, but I have to ask you a challenge question. What do you get if you go to Greg's? And I did not know what Greg's was other than it had something to do with food. So I just guessed sausage roll. Because that's like the most British food I could think of. And there is this like silence while we were playing. And then he was like, no, yeah, that'll do. And I looked it up, and Greg's most famous item is a sausage roll, which I just totally guessed off the top of my head.
Good for you.
So anyway, you can congratulate me later. So Fisk's British guy shows up and asks for Heather, which he's showing up to Matt's house.
Yes.
And Matt's like, how the fuck do you know she was here? And he's like, oh, honey, we know everything. And remember that because we're very dangerous. And he's there to hand deliver an invitation to the Black and White Ball. And which, by the way, he doesn't really invite Matt.
Well, the invitation reads Heather and guest.
Yes. I am a little surprised the invitation doesn't read Heather and guest that isn't Matt Murdock, right? But he hand delivers the invitation. Matt is just he's just slowly coming unwound and like crazy.
He is instantly like, this is a fucking trap.
Yeah.
Fisk is bullshit.
Fisk is dangerous.
You cannot go.
Yeah.
And Heather's like, well, fuck you. Maybe I will go.
Yeah. Right. And he like, she does say, like, hey, you can come with me. And he's like, I don't know. No. And then leaves. Yeah. So Fisk takes, there's still a Red Hook, takes Vanessa down to his custom prison.
Yep. His dungeon and not the fun one.
Yeah. And he's like, so do you remember your boy toy Adam? Well, he's still alive, which, by the way, I did say it looked like he might have been still alive at the end of that beating last time.
Yeah.
And like Adam's begging to let go, and Fisk is like, hey, I promised I wouldn't kill him, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm thinking about him fucking you, and it's given me a lot of trouble. Yeah. And she's like, well, let me fix that for you, and grabs a gun and shoots him.
Shoots him like 4 or 5 times.
And then a headshot. Yeah. Fucking, yeah. It's like, by the way, this show gets fucking dark sometimes.
The Fisks are so unbelievably fucked up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because she shoots him, and then like he takes the gun from her, and they look at each other. He's like, that's the hottest I've ever seen you. And then start making out. Yeah.
And like, there's a really, the conclusion of this scene is really cool. There's a great shot of like, they sort of like get close and like put their foreheads together. And there's a little gap that you can see like Adam's face with the shot through his head.
It is
like
super weird. We find out later that Vanessa tells Heather they don't need couples therapy anymore. And you're like, girl, are you sure? Because I think you do.
Well, I mean, she kind of got rid of the big issue.
Yeah, they reconcile. Yeah. I don't know. So the mayor and his gang, which is pretty much
his
Tony Soprano's son.
Oh, yeah.
Celebrate their press coverage because it turns out the SS squad that he put together is doing really well. The public approves.
Vigilantism is down.
Right. He promotes Daniel Blake to deputy mayor of communications, which, by the way, his like immediate boss is like,
are you sure about that? Because he's like, no offense to you, Daniel, but he's kind of a dumbass.
Yeah, don't take this the wrong way, but he's a fucking idiot. So, and like, I like how
he's like, actually, I am going to take that the wrong way. Fuck you, I'm in charge. Yeah,
and Daniel Blake is like, I'll fucking die for you. Which, by the way, what he literally says,
the Trump parallels are so like it's not even subtext; it's just text.
Yeah, it's pretty oblivious or obvious. He said his exact wording was, "I will burn for you," and I'm wondering if that's some kind of like foreshadowing. I'm just saying, by the end of this series, or by the end of the season, maybe in the season 2, if like Daniel Blake doesn't just catch on fire, we'll know where this is foreshadowed.
Yeah.
So Matt has a client that he knows is lying, and it is a total dick to him to the point of like apparent malpractice,
and is also apparently embezzling from teachers or something.
Yeah, that's
just incredibly fucked up.
Right? Yeah, that's his whole thing.
Like they don't even get paid enough to like, and they have to buy their own school supplies, dude. Like, come on. If you're gonna embezzle, at least pick a good billionaire. Or something.
Right. Go fraud some. Do what Bernie Madoff did, and go and. Because he just like picked on, if Bernie Madoff robbed some like actual decent people, I'm really sorry. But if they're billionaires, which we know by definition aren't decent, then fine. And wasn't he like, he ripped off a bunch of like hedge fund guys, right?
I believe so.
Or something. I don't know. But like those are the guys to go after. Yeah. Like
number one, they're not good people, so there's no moral issues here. And number two, they have a shit ton more money than some teachers.
Right. Why go after the teachers, dude? But anyway,
what did they ever do to you?
Yeah, to make it work or to make it worse, he's so blasé and careless about it. He's like on his phone the whole time. He's like, a fucking teacher.
I didn't take a penny from them. And Matt knows, like,
right, because he can hear his heartbeat.
Like, you're fucking lying. You're a piece of shit. Let me know when you want to make a plea deal. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I like how he's like, teachers.
Really? Come on, man.
And his law partner is like, you're
what the fuck is wrong with you?
You're gonna get us sued, and that's a problem because we're lawyers. It's like, what the fuck? And he's like, you know what? I can't take. I'm not doing this right now. Fuck you. I got to go somewhere else.
She's like, well, maybe I shouldn't tell you this, but Bullseye called from prison, and he kind of wants to talk to you.
Why did she tell him that?
Because the plot demanded it.
Yeah, if someone called me and was like, your law partner progressively spiraling Matt Murdock, the man that murdered his best friend would like to have a little meet cute with him in prison, I'd be like, yeah, he can't make it. And I would never tell him about it, right?
Like, yeah, I'll pass the message along and then never tell him.
In the trash, yeah. So Matt, who's feeling a little, I think,
goes down to the bar where Foggy died.
Yeah, because I think it's been like a year, right? Or something.
I believe so, yeah.
They're down there celebrating. Well, not celebrating. I think they're just...
Well, he's just standing out there in the rain, and the old woman who owns the bar is like, all
Josie, right.
Get the fuck in.
Right, yeah, I think she's just inside and she sees him, yeah.
And apparently she hasn't opened the bar in the year since Foggy died.
Because she even mentions in that scene, she's like, I don't even know if the community would want it.
Yeah.
So who the fuck? I don't know. I might sell this motherfucker. Cherry shows up, who's like, I think following Matt. He's like, what the fuck, man?
Also, Matt and Josie do a little day drinking.
Yeah. By the way, like he knocks a couple of those back.
He kicks back 2 shots.
Yeah.
Is about to get the third when he realizes that Josie is pouring the special victory liquor.
Yeah, and so he has a house moment where
like, wait a minute. He only drinks that when we've won a case.
By him, we mean Foggy. Yes. So that night when he died, he was celebrating about something, but it was like...
But they hadn't won yet.
Right.
But he knew they were going to.
Right. And he's like, that's probably what got him killed.
Yeah,
like whatever
someone
that
was
is.
trying to silence him.
So Matt's like, okay, well, it'd be really good for my mental health is if I go and visit Bullseye.
Go on down to Rikers Island and talk to Bullseye.
So, at first, it seems like Bullseye wants Matt to represent him. And he's like, look, work for me, get me out of Gem Pop, and I will tell you about who hired me. And Matt's like, or I could just beat your face in. How's that?
Yeah.
And he's like, that'll do. Go ahead. Carry on.
Yeah. So Matt grabs him by the back of the head, smashes his face into the table a few times, says, hey, guard. He started smashing his face into the table.
He smashed his own face. I don't know how it happened.
The guard's like taking him away, and he leaves, and Bullseye's like, thanks, counselor.
Yeah, and you know that, like, in the moment, that went exactly the way Bullseye wanted it to go. And I have a theory that Matt understood what he was doing too.
I was going to ask you, did you think this was intentional? Because there's later in the episode, we'll get to exactly what it is, but like it's kind of Matt Murdock's fault that Bullseye is loose.
I think he did, and I think his rationale is I can drop him off another fucking building if he escapes. But I can't do that in prison.
I mean, we can have another hallway fight where he throws a bunch of knives and sticks them in me.
Because doesn't it feel like he is just looking for, because he has all this rage, and he's just looking for someone to really go after with it, and it's like I'll let him kill a room full of guards, and then I'll drop his ass off a bridge or something, or just a higher building than the last time. So the black and white ball gown starts. Black and white ball. The black and white ball starts. Fisk's goons are there, the anti-vigilante guys, because they've turned into like his own like secret service, right? So they follow him everywhere.
The other SS,
right? The bad SS,
yes,
the German one,
the ones with skulls,
right? They do this really cool one shot where they focus in on like 3 different conversations, that I really enjoyed. The first one is Sheila and Daniel. So Daniel's the Tony Soprano's son. Sheila's the
chief of staff.
Right. Yeah. I almost said she was someone else. So basically she's like, I love you, but you're not ready for this. And he's like, well,
when I started, I wasn't sure if we were on the same side, but now all those questions have completely disappeared.
Right.
And she's like, okay, what the fuck does that mean? And Dan's like, I'm going to go drink with my buddy BB. Bye.
Bye. So he shows up to BB and he's like, okay, do you remember the other day when I threatened you? And she's like, yeah. And he's like,
admittedly, that was not very cool.
Dick move.
However,
so sorry.
It got me a new job.
Yeah.
So
and look at where we are. Fucking, we're at the mayor's ball.
Yeah. Let's fucking drink and be merry.
But I want to impress this upon you. I will fucking die for that man. And she's like, why do you?
That is unhealthy.
Yeah.
Sir.
She's like, I didn't even ask, and you're just saying. And then we get Jack Duquesne and Artemis Sludge, who, by the way, I didn't realize until today is played by the same actor who is in the best medical drama I've ever seen that John and I just finished yesterday called The Pit, and plays a really good character in that show. So we remember her from the other big rich guy meeting where she was there with her husband. But her husband isn't there anymore. And Artemis seems pretty scared about Fisk now. And he's like, hey, where's your husband? And she's like, oh, he couldn't make it. And it's like, is he in the next cell next to Adam or something? Is he next?
Maybe.
So, yay, Heather is here.
Yes.
She showed up. She got her fucking, by the way, killer white dress and she looks fucking good in it. Matt, of course, is not there at the beginning. And so she's like calling me. She's like, motherfucker. Like,
if you're not going to show up, at least fucking tell me.
I don't know anyone here. I'm just standing here, just eating cocktail
just
shrimp.
A bunch of rich shitheads.
Yeah.
And, oh, hey, Mrs. Mayor.
I'm going to go take a shit in a really nice bathroom. God damn it. So Fisk and Vanessa make their grand entrance. So guess who didn't get the memo about the black and white theme?
She got the memo. She just didn't care.
She's like
she is the first lady of New York.
Yeah.
She's going to wear whatever the fuck she wants.
Someone walked up to her with the memo and she's like, no, I don't think I will. So she's wearing this lavish fucking like red, I do what I want dress. Yeah. So Bullseye is getting treatment
stitched up on his head
in the infirmary at prison, and has broken his own tooth, which Matt helped dislodge.
Yes,
and must have the best breast support I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
because he's able to hurl this tooth through this man's head.
Well, that's not what kills him, because he, gets out of his handcuffs, breaks apart a pair of scissors, throws that through his head, and that's what kills him.
And the doctor, yeah. But still,
yeah, that's impressive.
I'm not even sure. So,
dude was a tuba player,
yeah, or something, yeah. So Bullseye is free now.
Yep.
Right.
So he steals the guard's uniform and his badge and sneaks on the bus to get off the.
He gets on the guard bus because he's got stitches and shit, and he's like kind of like you can tell like he's just in a fight and everything. And one of the guards is like,
rough day,
fucking bad day. He's like,
you have no idea.
So Vanessa and Heather have a little chat, and I mentioned this earlier, but she's like, look, Fisk and I. We reconciled.
All our issues are dealt with.
Yeah, we're healed.
We're communicating so much better now. Yeah. We no longer need your services, but thank you.
As it turns out, all it took was for me shooting my boyfriend in front of him. And Heather's like, oh, you did what now? And she's like, oh, never mind.
You weren't supposed to hear that part. Enjoy the party.
Yeah, and so Heather, you can tell, I guarantee you, because she runs her own practice, and like... having my own clients, not as a therapist, but like maintaining those business like things, I guarantee you that's a part of her is like, shit, I'm gonna miss that money she had she was giving me. So Matt arrives fashionably late. Yes. He's in his fucking tuxedo and everything, and Heather is like, I had to
he gets there, he like locates where Fisk is, and he's going like beelining straight to Fisk when Heather catches him and is like, motherfucker, you couldn't text me back or something?
Right.
Okay, I know you're blind. You couldn't call me back?
Yeah.
Like, I left a dozen voicemails. What the fuck, dude?
Do you know how long I was in the fancy bathroom shitting? Waiting for you, you son of a bitch. I like how he, just for show, he bumps into someone when he walks in. Because you know that motherfucker knows exactly where everyone is. So she is knee deep in her grievances with Matt, and he just zones out.
He's like listening to Fisk have this conversation with Jack Duquesne.
Yeah, and like Heather's voice changes to like the parents' voice from
it's like, oh my God, you're not even listening to me, are you?
And he's like,
of course I'm listening. She's like, what the fuck did I just say then, motherfucker? And he's like, hang on, I need to listen to Fisk.
Yeah, sorry, I had to zone out again.
So Fisk and Jack are in, this little side room, and Fisk is like, well, Jack, I'm so pleased that you are willing to contribute your private funds to my Red Hook revitalization project. And Jack's like, I didn't agree to any of that.
Oh, when did I say I could do that?
Fisk is like, well, you did when I got this proof of you being the vigilante swordsman, and I could, send my special extra legal task force after you anytime I want. So maybe you just cut a check and we call it even?
Yeah.
Jack is like, you make a convincing case, sir. The check is in the mail.
That there must be a part of him that's like, go ahead and fucking try. I could take your goons.
Yeah, I could slice them all up.
I love how his gimmick as a vigilante is just swashbuckling.
Yeah,
like
he's the guy from Princess Bride.
Yes, he really is. And I watched his little, because he has like a little 3-second thing in Hawkeye where he's out in the street in front of like 30 Rockefeller, and he's like,
just sword
he's
fighting.
Like, wow, yeah. That actor is played by Tony Dalton. I really love him. He's really great.
It's a very good, very good character.
Yeah. So there's a guy at the party who's a reporter who's like getting secret pictures of Fisk, who sticks his goons on him, and they take him in the back and stick his hand in a motherfucking deep fryer.
Well, the commissioner sees this happen and like follows him in and is like,
he tries to stop him.
I command you to let that man go right the fuck now, or I'll charge you with assault. And the asshole cop is like, oh, this isn't assault.
Yeah.
Sticks the man's hand in the fryer. That's assault.
That's a pepper too.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, you clearly aren't in control of this, and that's a nice life you got there. It would really suck for you to not have it anymore.
Yeah.
And so BB, not BB, BB.
Yeah, BB catches the commissioner on his way out.
On his way out, because he's like storming. Hey, motherfucker.
And she's like, hey, you have the look of a man who is really upset with Mayor Fisk right now.
You have the look of a man that just watched another man have his hand shoved into a deep fryer and could do nothing about it. And he's like, yeah,
that is remarkably perceptive of you. Yeah. And she's like, well, I also don't like Mayor Fisk very much. Here's my card if you want to talk sometime. I
like the line where he says, you know that Fisk was the lead suspect in your uncle's murder investigation. She's like, why the fuck do you think I'm here, you dumb shit? And he's like, I see where you're going with this. And he's also like, by the way, Fisk's like SS thing he's doing, I have files on every one of those motherfuckers.
And she's like, I
would very much like to read those. Yes. And he's like, I'd very much like to give them to you now. By the way, the whole time this conversation's happening, one of his goons is like watching them very carefully. Yeah. So I have a feeling the commissioner is not long for this world. I think he might be on his way out. Yeah. Fisk and Vanessa have a dance. Yeah. And everyone watches, and I'll be goddamned if it isn't kind of cute.
There's a little shot of Fisk, talking to another old rich guy.
Yeah.
And Matt is
kicking him out of the office before they dance, you mean? Yeah.
And Matt is finally had enough and storms off to go talk to Fisk and is dragging Heather with him. And then the Fisks start to dance.
Right. Yeah, because Fisk is like to his bodyguard, he's like, fucking Matt's coming over here. You want to like step in front of me or something? They start to dance. It is actually...
Like, the Fisks have an incredibly fucked up relationship dynamic where they both pull out the worst of each other.
Yeah, I know, but those actors have so much chemistry. Yeah. Like, I totally believe it.
You buy that they're a married couple who stick together because they
shoot people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they shoot people.
Or beat people to death.
But they genuinely love each other.
Yeah. Which, you know what? Good for them.
Yeah.
At least they found something.
I mean, this world's so fucked up. Take what you can get.
I love, there's a shot of Fisk doing the blowing the pistols out thing. Do you remember that? What MCU show was that? With Zemo when he's dancing at the nightclub.
Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
It kind of gave me those kind of vibes. So Matt tries to warn Vanessa about Fisk.
Well, first he says to Heather, "If anything happens, get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Call Cherry. Call my other lawyer buddy."
Which, by the way, at this point, Heather's like, Matt, you are a blind lawyer.
You are delusional.
What could you possibly have involved in any of this?
Yeah.
Like, you're acting like you're some like vigilante, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
And he's just like,
well, let's put a pin in that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go dance with Mrs. Fisk for a moment.
The way he does this, by the way, where he just steps in, he's like, I'm taking your fucking wife. And he just leaves Heather.
Yeah.
And by the way, I love how so there's a move that teachers do because especially small kids are very touchy and huggy, and they love hugs, and they want to be attached to adults. Yeah. But that is a liability issue for teachers, and so there is a trained move that we learn called the side hug, where when a kid comes in for a hug, so you pretend like you're coming in for a hug. And you go, oh, hey, and you turn your body away, right? Yeah. And you can tell Fisk knows he's like, I cannot get canceled. And so he's sitting there dancing with Heather doing the side hug. Yeah. And it's actually like, it's like, you know what, you're kind of classy though, man. Like, good for you.
Although he does take this opportunity to say, your boyfriend is kind of,
He's like a little crazed.
Yeah, he's kind of going over the edge, almost as if he were a daredevil.
He's wearing sunglasses inside. He's blind.
Oh, you mean like that vigilante daredevil?
Well, I'm very sorry for saying that. I also, by the way, I love how when they're dancing, Fisk and Matt are fully across the dance floor, and Fisk says, "What are you looking for, devil?" Because he's saying it under his breath, knowing that Matt can hear him. Yep. And then he says, "I told you there'd be consequences." And which is really awesome. Buck gets a call. And oh no, Bullseye has escaped. Yep. And who, by the way, has infiltrated the ball on the balcony where the sniper was.
Yes.
So he's up there with a gun now.
Yes.
Yay for everyone.
And Matt is like, okay, Miss Fisk, I fucking know you paid to have.
Did you just call her Miss McFist?
No.
McFist? Okay.
Mrs. Fisk?
Mrs. Fisk.
Mrs. Fisk.
Yeah.
I know you fucking paid to have Foggy killed. And she's like, the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
He's like, no, but seriously, like,
does your husband know you had Foggy killed? And she's like, I don't know, motherfucker. Does your wife or does your girlfriend know that you're Daredevil?
Are you still beating your wife?
Yeah, right. Does Heather know that you're Daredevil? And he's like, no, I haven't told her. No. And she's like, well, interesting.
Looks like looks like we all have secrets today, doesn't it?
So
Matt does his super hearing thing and hears, Bullseye up in the rafters racking the gun.
Which, by the way, they do this really cool thing where the aspect ratio changes, where we're in widescreen. And then when he starts getting his Spidey sense thing, the aspect ratio stretches to be full screen so that you can see Bullseye up in the fucking balcony. And it's really cool. There are a couple of shots that they took some real care with in this show that it's a lot of fun to watch. And there's a little bit of suspense at first because you're not exactly sure
who's Bullseye out to kill here.
There are a lot of people in that room he could have beef with because he obviously has beef with Fisk. I mean, Matt dropped him off a fucking roof. So, and I mean, it would really fuck with Matt if he killed Heather.
Yeah.
It would really fuck with Fisk if he killed Vanessa.
Also, Vanessa might be the only one who knows that she hired
him, right? And then he's like, but then fucking Daniel Blake's over here. He's annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
And I might just shoot him just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
And so he finally takes aim at Fisk and he fires. And for some reason, and I'm not exactly, I have a theory. Matt jumps in front of the bullet and takes the hit. And I'm wondering if he's like, motherfucker, if anyone's going to kill Fisk, it's going to be me. And he's that petty with rage that he's like, oh no one's killing this man. So in one shot, it looks like he took it to the shoulder.
Yeah.
In the shot where it's showing him lying down, it looks like he took it to the chest.
Yeah.
So one of those is way worse than the other, obviously. And I'm not exactly sure which it is. And this is right around when Heather starts thinking, like when he was like, hey, if anything goes down here, get this out and make a big stink about it. Where she's like, what the fuck is happening? Also,
how did my blind boyfriend realize that there's a sniper up there and dash across the room to take a bullet for the bear?
Because who
he doesn't like or trust?
Right, yeah. And that a lot of people are like, oh no, he accidentally hit the blind guy. But that Heather saw him go full Kevin Costner bodyguard and take the bullet for him and shit.
Get down, Mr. President.
Yeah. And it's I don't know. It's fucking crazy. And that whole, like the last, I don't know, like 5 minutes ish of this episode was like really dialing up tension and was a lot of fun.
This show goes out of its way to compare Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk and show all the ways in which they're similar. This last scene does a really good job of showing the ways in which they are different, because I guarantee you if the positions were reversed, there is no way Fisk has taken that bullet for Daredevil.
Hell no. Well, no, that's killing 2 birds with 1 stone, because he doesn't want Daredevil sniffing around anymore. Yeah. What's up, Georgina? Hello. And then someone on Kick says, hi bro, I have 1 question, please answer me. That was not a question. So no, I refuse. Right after this, we're going to play some Battlefront with our friend Ben for Britain and
I don't know, someone else.
One other person. I'm not sure who it is yet. I'll have to.
We'll figure it out.
Show up and you'll know who it is. Yeah. So please join us for that. It'll be a lot of fun. Otherwise, it's been a blast tonight. We appreciate the comments, and we will see you guys on Wednesday.
Bye-bye.